I absolutely adore boomer shooters. They are, without a doubt, my favorite type of shooters. You know, games like Doom, Wolfenstein, Duke Nukem 3D. I have wasted many hours of my life playing random boomer shooters. Blasting around demons and aliens and satanic creatures. Wait, those are just demons. Fuck! And boomer shooters have to have some of the most iconic protagonists of all time. Duke Nukem, Doom Guy, aka Doomslayer, Gordon Freeman, Master Chief, Postal Dude. So it really sucks that we don't get any more games that are styled after boomer shooters. I mean, we got Ultra Kill, but Ultra Kill is more Doom Eternal adjacent. And there is Dusk, which is insanely good, which I might cover another time. But besides those two games, we don't really get a lot of old school boomer shooters nowadays. And I really hate that. But there is a shooter out there that nails this type of game so well that I bet you could easily trick somebody into thinking it came out in the 1990s. I'm talking about Slayers X. Let's get right into it. No more intro.
When I was 16, I designed a computer game in this notebook.
Okay.
And it was awesome. But then, it got lost.
Oh no, what happened?
Or was it? I am the X-Slayer.
I am definitely getting copyright claimed for that montage, and I don't care. That was worth it. The game begins with an intentionally cinematic about our main character, Zhang, training in the X-Slayer dojo, when then they get the news that the mortal enemy of the X-Slayers, the Psychos, are going around the town dropping bombs around Zhang's apartment. The most powerful X-Slayer, Mikey, tells Zhang to stay behind. But then...
This just in, Psychos blew up Zane's mom when she was driving her car home.
I must revenge her.
So yeah, Slayers X is just one big revenge story. You play as Zhang with tons of different weapons going around and absolutely decimating the Psychos. And Slayers X has an absolutely amazing arsenal of weapons you can do this with. You got the double pistols, the S-Blade, the Glass Blaster, explosive sewage launcher, the rapid mutilator, the triple hex missile launcher, and the hack blood talisman. And you cannot forget the most important weapon in the game, Zane's endless rain of insults.
You pick a fight with Zane? You have a brain! P.S. I made out with your mom last night. You smell like turds. Well, not anymore, because you're dead!
Honestly, this whole revenge thing shouldn't be too difficult. I mean, we have Mikey on our side.
Mikey, no!
Aw, son of a Well, at least we have Okay, so if we're the only X-Slayer left, then who do we have to help us?
I love being a rat. They mess with Zane, they ain't got no brain. Just a little ratty rat in a little rat world.
You have got to be kidding me. To be serious though, the rats are pretty helpful. I mean, they kill enemies for you, and they tell jokes and make references.
It's time to chew ass and chew through wires, and I'm all out of wires.
It's time to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
We're the rats. We're the rats. We're the rats.
So with the rats on Zane's side, he proceeds to go on a massacre throughout his entire town, which takes him through places like the sewer, the carnival, the rich people neighborhood, and most importantly, his job, Dollar Shaver, where we get introduced to Melvin, Zane's boss. and Zhang makes it crystal clear how much he hates Mevin.
Attention customers, it's store manager Mevin here. If you smell something weird smelling, it's just my bong that I keep under my desk because I like to huff my own turds.
Zhang talks to Mevin multiple times in cutscenes throughout the game, and it becomes very clear how much of a he is to Zhang. And also, apparently, Mevin is, like, in a relationship with Zhang's mom, which is kind of, like, weird. The game basically spells out for you the fact that Mevin is the one behind this nightmare. I mean, he literally has a psycho secret base locked behind his office door. And when Zhang confronts him about it, he just does this weird smirk. But from the looks of it, Mevin isn't just someone who's working for the psychos. He seems to be a very powerful leader for the psychos. So if we want to take Mevin down, we're going to need a very powerful weapon. But thankfully, that's just what we get.
Zane.
Mikey?
The ghost of Mikey takes Zhang to a Matrix-type place, where he gets access to the Hack Blood Talisman. You see, on the right of your screen, there's a bar that's labeled Hack Blood, and when you charge that up, you can use the Hack Blood to shoot lasers. So the rest of this level is just you being able to toy around with the Hack Blood Talisman. Zhang meets up with Mikey again. Mikey tells Zhang to go to the Potato Festival, because that's where a lot of the psychos lie. Mikey then proceeds to leave, but before he does, he lets Zhang know one last thing.
Goodbye, my sons.
Yeah, so Mikey is Zhang's dad, which was hinted at when we saw him die, but somehow Zhang still doesn't get it. Despite this, Zhang still heads down to the Potato Festival, where one of the most insane secrets is revealed to us. You see, if you fall down this pit, there will be a ledge, and if you land on it, you'll find a tear in the map's geometry, where you can find disgruntled messages from a man named Adam Chase. Life tip from Adam Chase: never promise to help a high school friend that you will finish the stupid Cataclysm mod that you started together at 16. He will not forget, and you will regret it. Fall down the pit to respawn, or don't. The final boss sucks because I gave up. The guy is delusional, but he has a kid and really thinks this game is his ticket out of being a deadbeat dollar store manager. So I pretty much have to help him now. Why did I have to pick up the phone? I have my own family to take care of. And now the moment you've all been waiting for. The one, the only, the final X-Slayer, the real Zhang. Alright, I guess I have to explain all this bullshit. Zhang actually originates from a game called Hypnospace. Hypnospace is basically just a 90s forum internet simulator type deal. I haven't played it yet. But basically, Zhang had a page called Zhang Rocks, and it was basically just an ego-inflating page, where he also hosted a comic called Slayers X. My personal fear is that years after Hypnospace, Zhang grew up and made this game. With the help of his old high school friend Adam. This secret also tells us that apparently in the game's story, well, you know, the story surrounding this game, that's not actually a real story, whatever, is a mod of a game called Cataclysm. Just to clear this up real quick, Zhang is not real, Adam's not real, Cataclysm is not real. Slayers X is just a game that was made after Hypnospace, and Zhang is the character that ties these two games together. Basically, that's the most basic way to explain it, okay? Okay. This idea gets reinforced after you beat the game. After you beat the game, you unlock free levels that, are just levels that were never added to the game. And while you play them, Zhang just goes on and on and on about, like, how these locations and these secret levels are places from his real life and stuff like that. I don't have footage of it on screen right now because I forgot to record these levels. But I did manage to record my entire second playthrough of this game. My first playthrough was off screen, this is my second playthrough you're seeing, okay? By now, you're probably wondering what happened to Stephanie. Basically, what happened to her is that she got taken away in a rocket, and sadly, she was turned into a werewolf with a rocket launcher. Meaning that Zhang is the only X-Slayer left. And with that, Zane takes off and decides to finally take down Mevin. Yes, we are gonna actually just brush past all that Zane stuff. Because the game never really acknowledges it, like, the Zane character you're playing as doesn't say anything about it, obviously, because it was a secret hidden by Adam. But yeah, there's probably a lot of other YouTube videos explaining this whole secret thing better, but I'm just not good at it. Go watch some other YouTube videos about Slayers X. I bet they all, like, do a better job of explaining what this really means.
Finally, I can kill you! Zane, I have been waiting my whole life for this.
Don't listen to what Adam said. The final boss for Slayers X is great. The first phase is very simple. Mevin will switch between two carts, one where he just kind of throws bombs on the road, and one where he throws bombs at you, and you just have to shoot at him. This phase is actually extremely easy, so much so that I have to repeat the footage over as you see here, because it took me literally like 30 seconds to get past this phase. The same cannot be said about phase 2. My tip is immediately go and hide in a different vehicle, because what he likes to do in this phase is shoot down the vehicle you were standing on. He becomes this giant weird mechanical head with a face mask. My recommendation is try your best to hit his weak spot with your giant hack blood laser, and try to whittle away at his health and his mask. He shoots like these hack blood vortexes at you. Not only that, he also shoots little turd things at you, which is ew. While doing this, he constantly makes fun of the fact that he murdered your mom and girlfriend, which is just, no. It's here where I started thinking about the real Slayer X thing. I feel like Mevin is a real person in Zane's life who he is making fun of through this game. I also feel like Zane's mom did die, but that might just be me over-speculating things. But what I do know is that I killed the out of Mevin.
I am the X-Slayer.
We then get a final cutscene showing us the aftermath of the battle and the mangled remains of Mevin. We also get introduced to someone who calls themselves the Z-Slayer, which is probably just setting up the sequel. The game ends with Zane deciding to start teaching kids to become X-Slayers, so they never have to deal with the Psychos again.
To make it so the Psycho Syndicate never returns, I am now training students to be X-Slayers. Enroll now in the X-Slayer Training School at the Secret Training Dojo today, or else.
One last shot of the Z-Slayer, and that's it. Alright, so here are my final thoughts on Slayers X. 1. The gameplay is amazing. It is so snappy and fast-paced, and it just feels so satisfying to toy with. 2. Even though a lot of people say it's ugly, I personally really love the way the game looks. It perfectly, and I mean perfectly, nails the style of games like Duke Nukem and Doom, and it's just something that I adore. 3. The soundtrack, and I cannot stress this enough, is so good. It is just so well done and put together. They even have a system, like in Doom 2016, for when the fighting calms down, it plays this calming and sometimes even eerie music that really complements the game's tone and vibe. I literally just cannot make this video without mentioning the official Zane account. All it is just a guy who writes messages back to like reviews or tweets or posts about the game completely in character, and it's honestly so impressive to me how they went so far to make Zane feel like a real person. I would love to sit here and say the game is perfect, but it does have some problems. But not a lot. 1, there's a couple of glitches throughout the game, mainly just doors getting stuck. I don't have any footage of this happening, because sadly it happened while I wasn't recording, so that sucks. 2, the game relies a lot on gross-out humor, which doesn't bother me too much, but I understand that it's a thing a lot of people don't like, and me too, I feel like it goes a little too much in some places. The third problem I have isn't even a problem with the game, it's just a problem with me being cocky. I played the game on I'm Awesome, which was definitely a mistake. It made the whole experience super frustrating because of how difficult this game is on I'm Awesome. So I recommend playing it on normal. The footage you see is me playing the game on normal, which was, let me tell you, a much better experience. Fourth and finally, the game is just really short. My first playthrough, which was on the I'm Awesome difficulty, took me 3 hours. The second one, which is, again, the footage you're seeing here, only took me 1 hour to beat. The game only came out last year, so there is a good chance that we could eventually get a sequel or maybe a content update, and God, I hope we get that. I really want more Slayers X content. If I had to describe this game in 2 words, it would be well done. The game just gets so much right. It gets the aesthetic of 90s shooters right, and it gives a lot of Hypnospace fans some sort of closure for Zane as a character, showing us who he grew into. By the way, if you're interested, like this video and maybe I'll cover Hypnospace sometime. So finally, I give Slayers X a 10 out of 10.
I am the X-Slayer.